Today we build a new town hall for our Minecraft city. Good morning and welcome back to Morningcraft, where we're going to be addressing this big slab of stone. Recently I've been working on turning our town centre into something a little bit nicer. And this slab of stone is going to become the last major build in our town centre. And so I began turning this into a town hall. I started off by just working on the left side of the building. I built this side of the building up in a Tudor style, really leaning on the calcite blocks and the spruce and dark oak to do most of the work. And after a few minutes I had a rough outline for the first floor of the building. With this in place, I started work on the second floor, which was pretty much just the same again. You can see all of the little details that each floor has. I think the windows on this build are some of my favourite. So there we have it, a completed left side of the building. All I needed to do now was put a slight roof on it, and then copy it across to the other side. And so I did exactly that. I worked out the spacing to place in the middle of the building, which is pretty much the same, and then I placed in the right hand side of the building with its roof. All I would need to do now is fill in all the gaps. I filled in the gaps in the roof, building a single complete roof that juts out slightly in the middle. Then the ground floor for the middle needed some work too. For this I added an interesting doorway and some lovely pillars that support the overhang. But before I can show you the rest of the building, let's go to a quick story segment.
ジャンセン提督、ベルキポートに小規模な守備隊を残しました。残りはアーボリス襲撃のため我々の後を追うことになります。オルフの要塞を占領した場合、我々の部隊はガレー船数隻とともにそこにとどまります。要塞は守備隊が務め、オルフが奪還に十分な規模の軍勢を送り込んできたら、彼らはあっさり撤退します。彼には軍を100回分割させ、さもなければ税基盤を失うことになります。
Okay, so we're back and we're back to work on this Tudor style town hall. Again, I'm working on the doorway for the ground floor. But over the weekend, me, Mr. Firebirdie, and Struppy were working. We were able to build a pretty cool spawn point area for the server, and I'll probably make a video on that in the next few days. Haven't really looked at the footage. I've got like 3 hours of footage though, and we didn't build for all of it. It was mainly just me sort of messing around. But hopefully I can turn that into a okay video. So here we have it, the ground floor coming to life. You can see all the little details here, including these large windows, the large door frame, and the stairs that lead up into the building. I added a few more windows to the peak of this roof, and I was pretty happy with the build overall. There are only a few little things that needed changing, that being the sides of the building, which still weren't filled in. So I went ahead and added in the sides of the building, and I didn't add an interior because I never do. But I do feel that this building is the perfect way to finish off our town centre. Its Tudor style is congruent with all of its neighbours, and I think it looks pretty good. I also really like the little pops of nature above each of the windows, and I think they fit in nicely with the backdrop of azalea trees that occupies both sides of the valley. Access to this building is a little bit difficult. We've got a slight bridge going over the canal's slipway, and then we have the sort of gardeny tree-coated bridge to the left-hand side of this building. So yeah, the access isn't quite ideal, but I do think it's still a rather nice building. Of course, I did still have to take a look at this one during the night time and make sure that everything was lit appropriately. And so, as nighttime came, I came around with a bunch of lanterns to fix up the lighting on this building. One of my favourite things about Thuldrim is how it looks during the nighttime, so I had to make sure that I did this building justice in the same lighting conditions. I think I did a pretty good job, and I even made use of some of the new chains and lanterns. What was left to do now was to sculpt the gardens around it so it fits in nicely. You can see I modified the pathways just slightly, added in some trees, then I replaced all the cherry leaves with a mixture of azalea and flowering azalea leaves. And there we have it, a brand new town hall for our Minecraft city. It's got wonderful lawns outside, and despite the limited access, it's a pretty nice place to be. We've got this guard, which I had to move onto the door, as he was just standing awkwardly next to it. And speaking of standing awkwardly next to things, it's going to be a really hard segue, I hope that your morning isn't awkwardly standing next to your day, but in fact, the foundation of a great one. I think I managed to segue, that was kind of okay. Yeah, here's a quote. I actually kind of like this one, you know? I like it. Be pleasant, you know? Good energy, bring good energy. Boom. Makes more energy.